All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. And I want to just say that the northern kingdom, a lot of them are still lost, man. And as you can see here, you got this northern kingdom Israelite that's dapping, which, like, let me say this as well. It could be a tear, right? Because, like, just because you look like an Israelite, that don't mean nothing. Because there's people that look like so-called white men that are 6'1" 100 out here, right? And they are Israelites. But some of you people out there would be like, nah, he ain't no Jake, because he's got to look like Wesley Snipes. But they're acting more like an Israelite than you are. Right now, in this video, you got, as you can see on the screen, you got this what looks like an Israelite dapping up Satan himself, right? Shaking his hand and all that, and talking about how it don't matter what the color of the Messiah looks like and all these different things that he was saying in the video. But if that's the truth, then why are you even talking about it yourself? If it don't matter, if somebody wants to believe that he looks like a so-called black man, leave them alone. Don't even question them on it. Don't tell them that. You don't tell them not to talk about that if it doesn't matter. You yourself don't talk about it and let them believe that he's whatever color they want him to believe that he is. Then don't even question them on it. Don't ask them and don't tell them to not talk about what color they believe that he is if it really doesn't matter what color he is. But you'll notice that these people never do that. They'll tell us that the color don't matter because we're saying that the color doesn't look like what color they've been trying to ingrain into people's minds. So as soon as we say that the color of the Messiah is not that of a so-called white man, now the color don't matter. Right? Now the color all of a sudden don't matter. But when the color was being portrayed as being a so-called white man, then it mattered. But then as soon as we realize that that's not the color, oh, it don't matter now. Who cares what he looks like? It's about what he did. But then what he did isn't even for everyone neither. And I find it hilarious that even this video even really exists, because what the hell is finding one random Latino and doing a 4-minute video that they don't approve of the doctrine gonna do? Do you know what I mean? How many Israelites didn't approve of Jeremiah? Huh? How many Israelites didn't approve of Moses? Didn't Moses literally slay an Egyptian that was beating an Israelite up and burying them in the sand? And then that same Israelite that Moses helped said, what are you doing that for? Was basically like, what are you doing that for? You ain't my leader. You ain't my ruler. What are you helping me for? Are you going to slay me like that Egyptian? You know what I mean? So finding an Israelite that's against what's actually really going on is not hard to do. It's very easy. And then for all you Israelites out there that you bow down to this Vocab Malone guy all the time, which I really don't understand what you people find so fascinating about this guy that makes you, like, he looks suspicious, right? Like, look at him, a cap on and dark shades. Like, that looks suspicious, bro. In my opinion, anyway. Like, I don't understand what's so fascinating about this guy that makes you people want to prove to him something. Like, what are you trying to prove to this guy? He's so set on saying who the Israelites ain't, but has he ever said who the Israelites are? He literally said his speciality is about the Hebrew Israelites. But what about the actual gospel, though, of the Bible? If all things wrong, then what about teaching that actual thing? What about actually making a doctrine that involves every single Bible verse? In your speciality against the Israelites, some of the scriptures that the Israelites go into, have you got an alternative interpretation? Or are you on that it's sealed stuff? And that's what I mean. Like, some of you people, you hate the Israelites' guts so much that you haven't even looked and realized that this guy doesn't talk about a lot of the things that the Israelites talk about. And some of you people are secretly watching to see what the Israelites say about current events that go on in the world, because you know you ain't going to find it from this guy. He ain't going to talk, and he ain't told you what the MOTB is. He still ain't told you all now. Some of you people have been following this guy ever since he started talking about the Hebrew Israelites, because you got cut by them with the word and wanted to try and prove in your mind that what they said about you was wrong, that you're an Edomite or a heathen and that you go into captivity, which when you got told that they was right in telling you that, by the way, because that's exactly where you're going. But some of you people ran to this guy, right, and have just been following him, trying to disprove that we're the Israelites so long that you haven't sat back and realized that this guy hasn't really prepared you for what's coming in the day of the Lord that everyone that says that they believe in the Bible should be waiting for. He ain't told you what the day of the Lord is going to look like. He ain't told you what the kingdom of heaven is going to be like. He ain't told you none of that. All he's doing is trying to find one human being that committed a crime and say they were Israelite. Trying to disprove that we're Israelites, but they're not telling us who we actually are according to the Bible. You notice that? He's quick to say we ain't the Israelites, and even if we are, it don't matter, because the church is Israel. Prove that. How about you prove that? Because I know that in Romans, the 4th chapter, starting from the 14th verse, from the 13th verse, Romans 4 and 13 to verse 16, it says that the promise, it's about the promise. So that the promise can be sure, it's about faith, so that the promise can be sure to all the seed. So it's a lineage thing. I know that in Romans, the 11th chapter, the 26th verse, it says, and so all Israel shall be saved, not all heathen. It gives a whole analogy about olive branches, natural and unnatural, to come to the conclusion that all Israel shall be saved, showing that the wild and the natural are both olives, are both Israelites. But tell that to a Christian, and all they're going to say is they ain't nothing Jew and they ain't nothing Greek. And they ain't nothing women and they ain't nothing man, which explains why all the madness goes on in their churches, if they believe in that they ain't male or female. Even the current president of America ain't standing on that. Even he knows that there's male and female. You know what I mean? He just did an order, right? He's like, nah, we ain't dealing with none of that madness. Even he knows that. So what's wrong with you Christians? Like when you see these videos of these Jakes that, like, look at him. What you guys don't understand is that this guy, this Malone guy, he don't care about the new Jakes that don't believe the doctrine. He already knows y'all are through. He's worried about the ones that do believe. He don't give a damn about the ones that don't believe. He don't, like, y'all ain't no threat to nothing. Y'all ain't no threat to the fall of Esau's kingdom by the kingdom of heaven coming. Like, has this guy even told you where Babylon the Great is? Does this guy believe that God should bless America? Because the kingdom of heaven is against all the kingdoms of this earth. None of these kingdoms of this earth are righteous. The kingdom of heaven is going to be what's going to be righteous. But these guys, they run their mouths, man. Like, and you Israelites that you side with these people, you're sickening. Here is the Israelites are telling you that you're the best people on the earth, and you're settling to be a Gentile. You know what I mean? Like, so you've got Israelites that would, like, people that are being told they're literal Israelites, and that they can also be a spiritual Israelite. But then they're like, nah, forget that. I want to be a Gentile that's a spiritual Israelite, and I want to share my kingdom with everyone else. But then if they came into some inheritance money, they wouldn't share it with everyone. If some of you Jakes, your granddad died or something like that, your granddad Winston died, yeah, and he left you 50,000 in a house in Jamaica or something, or in Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago or something, Nigeria, Ghana or something, your uncle Winston, yeah, you wouldn't want to give that to everyone else. You wouldn't be like, where's Esau at? Esau, come and give me. So why are you trying to do it with the kingdom of heaven? If you got some inheritance money from your mom, your father dying, you wouldn't be trying to give that inheritance to everyone. You wouldn't be trying to break Esau off none. If you could get away with not having to give any towards anyone else, you wouldn't be trying to break it off. So why are you trying to do that with your inheritance in the Lord? Why? What's wrong with you? Like, all the things that these people try and scoff about and trying to say that it's about everyone can receive this and receive that. That's not in the Bible. Why are you ignoring that the new covenant clearly says it's going to be for the house of Judah and the house of Israel? Everyone on earth is not of the house of Judah and the house of Israel. I don't care what none of you people want to say. There's no way you can try and make everyone be of the house of Judah and the house of Israel. Because what about the house of Esau that's going to be destroyed in the book of Obadiah? Are they going to be part of the house of Judah and the house of Israel? How? If they're going to be destroyed? And if you're saying that they already are destroyed, well, then they still can't be a part of it. What about the Philistines and all these other nations? How are they going to become part of the house of Judah? How? How are they going to become part of the seed of Israel? How? How can you have been the seed of one nation at one time, Pastor, and now the seed of another? Huh? Are men able to just make seeds of all different nations? I don't think so. If I'm an Israelite man and I have children, all my children can only be Israelites. I can't be like, you know what? That last son of mine, he was a Jake, but this one, I'm finna get an Edomite so that he can be blessed with the sword and then plot one out, mate. Nah, it don't work like that. We ain't got a dial that we can just turn on our testes, right? And just, okay, we switch it to Edomite mode. And then now Edomites come out. Oh, now I want a Japheth. I want a Japheth child now. And we just switch the dial and that, and now it's Japheth. Oh, now I want 2 Moabs. In fact, you know what? I want to have a Moab and a Jake, and I want it to be twins. And this is my woman. So I'm going to turn the dial now, and now it's only on Israelite mode. If you're an Israelite, if you're an Edomite, it's only on Edomite mode. There ain't no switching trans-racial business going on around here. That don't exist. That's not real, bro. But that's the way how you Christians want it to be. You want it to be your way. You want it rigged so that your doctrine can stand, but your doctrine's not real, man. It just don't exist. The things that y'all are talking about is just not legitimate, man. And just like how the Edomites tried to usurp the inheritance of the Israelites, now you Christians are trying to do it. You're trying to be a usurper of the inheritance of the Israelites. You're trying to say that that belongs to you, but what about your inheritance that you got from the Heavenly Father among your nations and your lands that you've got? Does that belong to the Israelites then? And when you, let me go back, like when you're seeing this guy, like he ain't even looking at him. He don't really like, all he's doing is laughing like, ha, look at this sucker. He's deceived. Like, you think he really cares? You think he really cares, man? About you talking about how you don't believe you're an Israelite. He has no interest anymore then now. Just drop you to the curb. He's more fascinated by the Israelites that do believe. And that's why he's talking like, this guy is a waste man, you know. He complained and was like, oh, so he's saying I'm supposed to get on a plane. I'm supposed to get on a plane and go and harass and talk to the people that are small hats. Listen, man, we ain't ignorant to the geography of the world like you think we are. There's people that are so-called small hats that live in New York. There's people that are so-called small hats that live in London, around Tottenham Hale, and that. I've seen them with my own eyes before. And I'm not even from London. I've seen them with my eyes. And when the first time I saw them, right, all them years ago, I was like, what the fuck is that? I was like, what the fuck is that supposed to be? I didn't know nothing about what they were. I didn't know. I was like, why is this guy dressed in all black like the Grim Reaper? What the fuck is one of them? I didn't know what it was. It's like seeing a damn unicorn. I didn't know what the hell that was. But I knew it wasn't nothing righteous. But didn't this guy, Volker Malone, go all the way to France to talk about the Israelites? He did, right? Didn't he go all the way over to London and was talking to Israelites, and then even tried to call out another group of Israelites from Great Millstone and say, oh, where you at? What part of the world? What part is that? You cowards, and try and draw them out carnally, and they didn't want to talk to him, and rightly so, because he's a scumbag. So he'll travel to another country to harass Israelites, but then when it comes to the small hats, he ain't gonna do no traveling. When in the same city, London, that he was harassing Israelites in, right? Talking about, I came over here for ministry. The same place that he did that, he could have did it over there. He could have went and saw the so-called small hats over there. And he could have went and saw the, like, as if they ain't no people that call themselves Israelites that are really Edomites, that are the small hats in America. Like, of course there is. Find them. Get in your car or however you travel around and go and do a video on them. But he's not going to do that, though. He'll never do that. If he's really so desirous to know who the Israelites are, search every nation. Don't just be trying to be on a thing watching us. Look among all nations, right? But with this guy, man, this guy really is a demon, you know. And he just looks off. Like, it's just mad, bro. He's just mad. And all you Jakes that you try and side with this guy, like, let me go back to the bit where they're shaking hands, man. Let me see if I can find that. Like, all you guys that try and side with this guy, like, he don't care about you. He don't give a damn. You're trying to dap up this guy. shaking hands with him and that. You think he cares? You think he cares about you? Anytime I've ever in my lifetime shook an Edomite's hand, some pain and afflictions came afterwards and they've screwed me over in some way, man. Right? They're just demons, bro. And this guy is an Edomite, straight up. Do you know what I mean? This guy is an Edomite, man. He's an Edomite, and all you Jakes that you want to side with this guy for whatever reason you want to side with him, like I don't understand why you want his approval so much. He ain't even gave you a complete doctrine. You ain't gonna, like, from me listening to the Israelites that I listen to, I've understood the Bible very well, I believe. Right? For very well, man. I've started to understand things in the Bible that no one else talks about. But when you follow Christianity and you start asking them things in the Bible, they ain't gonna give you the answers. They ain't gonna say nothing. They ain't gonna tell you things to fix up your health and to fix up your diet. They're gonna be like, oh, I don't judge. They ain't gonna bun you out and tell you about yourself in the spirit if you need to be told about yourself. Because they don't want to be told anything about themselves. But when it comes to the Israelites, they do that, man. They'll tell you about it. They'll curse your ass out, man. Because in the spirit, they'll know that it's needed. But among Christianity, they don't do no corrections. They're just all, shh, don't say anything, sure. Yeah, okay, we know that he did this, but just move him to another church somewhere else. Because it's about trying to keep our appearances right. Now, I really don't understand why so many of you Israelites are so desperate to run to your dad, Volkan Malone, man. Anytime you've got a grievance about the doctrine, you run to Volkan Malone. Who's he? Is he meant to be like is he supposedly some official person? Like, I mean, on YouTube, as far as even the Christian channels go, he ain't even that big in the game. 45,000 subscribers. Like, that's not even all that. There's Christians out there that have got way more. There's Christian channels out there that have got way more subscribers than this guy. Way more. No, I mean, like, he ain't nothing too deep, really. He's just like a wasp that's in your house that's buzzing around, and you're wondering where the buzzing sound's coming from, and then it's annoying. And you Jakes are dapping him up and that, shaking his hands and all this kind of stuff. Like, what are you expecting to see? And you're trying to prove so hard that you're not a believer of this doctrine because you're scared, really. You know Esau is a demon, and you're scared that when he gets angry, that some of that anger is going to hit you, and you're like, well, let me throw all my other people under the bus that are actually speaking what's right, in the hope that when he comes after my people, he spares me, and he's not going to spare you. He's not going to. He ain't going to spare you neither. And this is why, man, this is why I understand why Yahweh's jacking up the Northern Kingdom, shaking y'all out and shipping y'all out, man, on borders and that, because y'all are wicked as hell too. You deserve to be going through that, just like how the Southern Kingdom is going to deserve what they're going to go through as well, because you don't want to acknowledge that you're Israelites. And among the so-called Latinos and that, they're very hateful towards each other a lot of the time, even in the gang culture that they have. But then when it comes to Esau, they ain't got the same level of anger. And that's why Yahweh's shaking y'all up, man. This guy felt the need to come and tell Volkan Malone that I'm against the doctrine, as if that's like a big, like, what the hell is one Latino saying I don't believe in the doctrine gonna do? Now, I don't get it. One Latino shows up, oh, I don't believe. Mate, the Israelites have hardly ever believed. It's clear in the scriptures. Except the Lord of Sabaoth, unless there's a remnant, would have been like Sodom and would have been like Gomorrah. Israelites hardly ever believe the truth when they hear it. They're stiff-necked. They're stiff-necked people. And if this guy really is an Israelite and he's a scoffer right now, and if he doesn't repent, he's going to get destroyed. But then he's still going to get the kingdom anyway, because the Israelites are beloved for the Father's sake. So all you Christians come with all this spiritual Israel and all this stuff, yeah? A literal Israelite can be a spiritual Israelite. A literal Israelite can be acting like an Israelite in the spirit like they're supposed to be. So there's no need for Yahweh to pass it over to no other nation. And the middle water petition and all that stuff that you want to talk about is not talking about breaking down nationality lines. That's ridiculous. Because there's things that the Israelites have been promised that everybody else has not been promised. And if everyone else was to receive them, then the promise is not true. The promise is made void, right? Then the promise is made of none effect. It's made void because it's not a promise then. If a man has a son, he says, son, I'm going to give you this. I promise you, right? No matter what, I'm going to give you this, son. And then he goes back and says, and just gives it to everyone afterwards. Well, then that meant that that promise was nothing. That weren't no real promise. That meant that he lied. And Yahweh's not a liar. But you guys are shaking up Esau's hand to try and prove that I'm against these mans. And then what do you get in return when you side with this guy anyway? What do you get in return? Nothing. You don't even get no cool points for hanging around with this guy. It's not like if somebody became friends with a guy like this and was like, oh, that's my friend. Oh, wow, I didn't know you had such cool friends. Nah, it's not even. He ain't even, like, even the thing that he had as his hobby to rap, he was straight trash, hot garbage, right? And then when it come to the thing that he thought he was better than J-Cat, right? So he realized he wasn't better us than rap. And then the thing that he thought he was better us in, at least I'm better than him in the Bible. He come to find out he's not better than that either. And he's slowly going to come to find out he's not better than us at anything. And even though he can really pass for a so-called Latino, because him and this guy next to him kind of look similar, he ain't one though. It's not about passing by image. It's about whether you really are an Israelite or not, man. And these Edomites, I saw them mention Revelation 7 and 9 in this video. Right? They mentioned Revelation 7 and 9 in this video, but Revelation 7 and 9, with Israelites have went over it many times. The word kindred there is clearly phule, which means in the New Testament, which is the place where you find Revelation 7 and 9. In the New Testament, all people descended from one of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob, which would mean that they're Israelites. And that perfectly matches several prophecies where the Israelites are going to be gathered out of all countries, the seed of Israel. Jeremiah 23 verse 7 to verse 8 is a very good scripture in relation to that, because it clearly says the seed of the house of Israel, right? They're no longer going to say Yahweh, which led the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but Yahweh, which he brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, the seed. But when it comes to these Christians, they don't want to acknowledge prophecy. They want to just scream, they ain't no Jew, they ain't no Greek. There's a great multitude from all nations, but they don't want to really go in depth into it. They want to go in depth into our DNA. You know what I mean? But then at the same time say that the Bible says don't go into useless genealogies, but they want us to be under that burden of trying to prove our DNA. They want to say, oh, my dad's name was, you know what I mean? My dad's name was Clark, and then his dad's name was, you know what I mean? And then his name was, so my dad's name was Clark Jr., but then his dad's name was Clark Sr., and then it goes back and then back and then back and then all the way up to Abraham. And here's a picture with Isaac holding shaking Abraham and holding. Nah, we don't have to do that. You don't come to that with no one else. They want to break down our DNA codes and all that and know our DNA results, but they don't want to break down what a word is in the Greek. Isn't that fascinating? We can't go into the Greek to break down a scripture, but they can want to go in all up in our DNA. They want our DNA traced back to Abraham. They want our DNA traced back to the time of when the Israelites was in Rome and all that. But we can't go into what the word is in the Greek. We can't go into John 3:16 and show that the word's cosmos. But they want to go into our DNA and try and show, see, you've got 0.1 English, it says there, so you're an Edomite. So which part, like, that's what they want to be able to try and do. When if you understand the way how the lineage is decided by the Bible, forget what this world says, by the Bible, which these Christians claim to be about, they ain't no 0.5%, because the seed is a seed. So they ain't no, it's a 0.5 an apple. and then 99.5% are grapes. Oh, it's a 50% of orange and then or 50% a lime. No, it's either a lime or it's another fruit. It's either a cat or it's another animal, right? It's either, you know what I mean? But they want to try and come to us with all of this percentages talk. But then when it comes to them being spiritual Israel, what are they? Is there percentages in the spiritual Israel thing then? Oh, I'm spiritually Israel 75%, but I'm 25% what my real lineage is, going back to my forefathers. They don't want to be specific about that though, innit? But they want to be all up in our DNA results. They want us to do a 23andMe. You know what I mean? They want our DNA paperwork and that. But then we can't go into the Greek. They want to know our DNA. But we can't be like, you know what? You're reading Revelation 7 and 9, but in the Greek it says this. Oh, nah, you're doing too much. They want our DNA results, but we can't tell them that the letter J was the last letter made in the English alphabet. You're doing too much there. So you're saying I can't just read it as it says. I gotta learn Hebrew now. But then we've gotta go back to our, you know what I mean? Gotta do all these DNA results to prove where it is, like, but then they don't give everyone else the same standard. You people are all over the place, man. You're hypocrites. One rule for us and another rule for everyone else. That's what you want to try and do. And the thing that's mad about it is that you like slime ball Israelites among that monk that want to shake this guy's hand and be around this guy and that. Haven't you realized that he's made a whole doctrine telling you ain't shit and that you should never dare in your life think that you're anything special? You're black and that's what you're going to be. That's what his literally life's been about, his life's work recently. He's made a whole book about it, man. Telling you, don't even think you're anything special. You're black and that's all you're ever going to be. And even if you are Israelite, it don't matter because I'm taking over that. That's what Christianity is trying to tell you. And you're actually letting them tell you it. I'm not letting none of these Christians ever try and think they can try and tell me that I'm not an Israelite. Fuck them. I'm an Israelite, man. I believe that. And even if I'm not of the elect, I believe I'm an Israelite, man. I don't give a damn what any of you Christians say. In fact, instead of Vocab Malone being all up in our DNA results, why don't he tell people what nationality he is according to the Bible? Why don't you tell everyone what nationality he believes that he is according to the Bible? Shouldn't that be more what he should do? Take this DNA beam out of his own eye? Instead of trying to tell us what nationality we are. And that goes for all you other people that are in these comment boards as well. Instead of all you people that want to try and talk about how we ain't this and we ain't that, right? How about you worry about what nationality you are according to the Bible, but then y'all will say, oh, it don't matter. So if it don't matter, don't tell us nothing then. If it don't matter, don't have a problem with us saying that we're the Israelites then. If the nationality of a person really don't matter, leave us the hell alone. Because we don't need to believe the Bible the way that you believe it. If we want to believe that nationality matters according to the Bible, we can then. If it don't matter, leave it. If a so-called black man wants to stop saying he's a so-called black man, wants to say that he's an Israelite, leave him alone then. Because it don't matter anyway. So it don't matter if he does say what his nationality is, and it don't matter if he don't say. But clearly, it does matter to you. Because your whole thing has been about trying to make us not believe that we're them. That's what your whole thing's being about. That's one of the main two grievances of the Christians in regards to the Israelite doctrine is that we believe that we're the Israelites and that we believe that they're not going to get salvation. That's been their main thing. But if they're so comfortable in their own doctrine, just teach it, man. These guys spoke to way more enough Israelites now to where now surely he could change things up, man. Start being like, you know what, I'm gonna be fit, I'm gonna be balanced, because the scriptures do say a false balance is an abomination to the Lord. So you know what I'm gonna start doing now? This is phase 2 of the Malone show. And I'm gonna now start asking the small hats the same question that I've been asking the Hebrews, but he wouldn't do that because he'd be worried that his channel is gonna get dragged off the internet and he's gonna get shaken out of his boots, mate. He wouldn't do that. He would not dare asked the small hats the same questions that he asked us. But he cares so much, and he thinks that the church is Israel. They've just recently got the president of the country that he lives in as an ally. So he should really be all up in their business and telling them, you know what, nah, man, what y'all are doing, that ain't right. You took them people out of Gaza. You know what, nah, there's neither Jew nor Greek, man. The church is Israel. But he ain't going to do that, though. He ain't going to do that abroad. And he ain't going to do that in his homeland of America where he lives neither. But then they'll say, oh, I'm supposed to get on a plane. Mate, you went on a plane to France? Like, what are you talking about? It's on your channel. If you didn't record it, we wouldn't have known you went there. You went on a plane and you was in London. Like, you went there, you did it, you showed it, man. You recorded it. You or your friends recorded yourself doing that. And in the same city that you was in London, in the same country, England, there were small hats there that you could have asked them some questions. You could have went on the street. You know where to find them. You're a researching type guy. You would have been able, you know that there's people that call themselves children of Israel that are the people that we say are not, that live in America. You would know where to find them. And the same way you've traveled to New York, to Texas, the same way how you've known that a man's teaching on the street corner and he's supposed to teach at 5 o'clock, but he's not there. Oh, I'm going to have to tell the apostle about how you're not being diligent. And you're wondering why men are on the corner that you somehow found out that this man teaches on a corner of the street somewhere randomly, like literally one man, and you're wondering why he ain't there. The same way you've did all of that, you would know where to find a person that calls himself a small hat in the land of America, and you could ask them some questions, man. You could say, okay, so we know that there's some certain people that don't believe that you're really the Israelites. So to nip this in the bud, can you just show your DNA results right now? To nip this in the bud, can you just show and explain why you believe you're the Israelites? And here's the same question that I asked to these guys, and I'm going to ask you the same questions because I'm fair. But you haven't did that, though. And for some reason, all you Jakes that are you black Christians out there, for some reason you haven't recognized that this guy is doing that. That he's got one doctrine for us and then a completely different doctrine for, like, literally, when this guy comes up against an Israelite, the techniques that he uses and the questions that he asks are completely different to when he's talking to anybody else. It's ridiculous. And you know what, man? I was just thinking about that, man, and how you Jakes, like, you love this guy, man, and I don't understand. Like, this guy, man, this guy must be some zombie master, bro. For all you zombie Jakes out there, man. But anyway, man. Yeah, whatever. Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel.